Anger assuaged despite a broken air conditioner due to better answers from better questions. I'm Dr. Adam Millman. Thank you very much for watching. The writer E. Cummings once wrote, "Always the better answer who asks the better question." And this is so true. The questions that we ask will affect our mood. They will either cause us to find resources that we didn't know we have or lead us further down into this black hole of emotional abyss where it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Why do I always mess up? Why am I so stupid? Why does this always happen to me? Obviously, the answers that your brain gives you to these questions will not be things that you want to hear. Ask yourself questions like, how can I make this better? How can I learn from this? What can I do to make the situation better? Those questions will give you the power that you need to overcome the problem and maybe even find some benefit in it. So I wanted to relate an interesting story that occurred to us within the last week when we were on vacation in San Luis Obispo, central coast of California. The night before we left, we had a broken air conditioner unit. Now in Las Vegas, this is a very big problem. It can be triple digits for weeks and weeks and weeks. It can be in excess of 110, 115 degrees. And if you only have one working air conditioner, the other one might break due to having to work extra hard. So we didn't want that. So before we left, we were able to rely on my father and my wife's father to come and be there when the assessment was made by the technicians. The technicians came to the house and promptly told us that it is a bad unit with a bad installation and there is no way to fix it. It's not a good company. It's not a good unit. It was installed wrong. And also it's not covered under warranty. But for the price of $6,000 out of pocket today, they would be more than happy to fix it. Later the next day, I was given a quote of $15,000 minimum in order to replace it to get it to where it needs to be. I was told that it was not covered under warranty, that they had already contacted the company. So now what to do? So I'm on vacation, and I guess one choice would be to allow it to completely destroy my vacation and say things like, why does this always happen to me? Why do people always try to take advantage of us? Why isn't the installation done right? Do I have dollar signs on my forehead because I'm a doctor and people just always want to give us the most expensive price? So these questions I noticed were putting me in a bad emotional state, a bad emotional pattern as some people describe it. So what do you do? So as I said earlier, the quote from E. Cummings, always the better answer who asks the better question. So I started asking more empowering questions. And I also implemented some of the strategies that I gleaned from a highly recommended book called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, a former FBI hostage negotiator, who suggested asking what are called calibrated questions. So I said to the guy, how am I supposed to afford that? How do I know this one's not going to break? I was told that the unit that I had installed had a lifetime warranty, and then the technician that installed it said, after we had someone else work on it in an emergency, that he would no longer cover it. So how do I know that the next one that's installed is going to be covered? How do I know it's not going to break immediately? How do I know you're not ripping me off? This forces the other person to take a step back, kind of on the defensive, and now respond to your questions, and maybe in hopes of perhaps giving you a better deal, making a better negotiation. And then also I try to always implement Dr. Stephen Covey's concept of a win-win situation rather than a lose-win, where you just kind of submit and you're easily rolled over and steamrolled and the other person just gets what they want. That's a lose-win. And then the opposite is a win-lose, where you get everything you want and the other person doesn't get anything, and then they're bitter, and then maybe you can't do business with them in the future. So I was trying to get a win-win, but the way it looked to me, and I had a previous experience with this company that my wife and I thought might have led to a suspicion that maybe they were always trying, maybe perhaps working on commission, which I found out later that is true, but then also that they were maybe perhaps trying to take advantage of us, fixing things that didn't need to be fixed, wanting to replace things that maybe didn't need to be replaced. So I figured let's look elsewhere. I also then implemented Tony Robbins' strategy in his famous work, Awaken the Giant Within, which are called the power questions, or the questions that we ask ourselves in order to find solutions to problems. So the first one is, what's great about the problem? So obviously the first thing I say is nothing's great about the problem. I'm supposed to be enjoying a long overdue vacation with my family, overlooking the Pacific Ocean in Central Coast, California. And now I have this problem to worry about. I got my father-in-law standing there in the hot house. I got my father there another day standing in a hot house. I got one air conditioner probably ready to break because it's doing the job of both air conditioners. I'm told that I got to make a decision today, otherwise the great deal they were being offered to me for $15,000 to replace it would evaporate immediately unless it was done that day. It was a special, very persuasive sales technique on the phone that I feel like I was presented with. It sounded almost like a timeshare presentation rather than someone that was my advocate trying to fix something that needed to be fixed, rather than maybe someone trying to enrich themselves. That's how I felt. So I thought, you know what, I don't need to be victimized by this. I have other options. Another good strategy in most situations is there's very rarely just one option. Usually there's more than one option, even if it doesn't seem like it right away. Usually you have more than one option. So I figured maybe there's more than one option. And I said to myself, what's great about this? Well, number one, I now need to look around and see if the service company that normally comes to our house, maybe there's other competitors that might do a better job. So I took that approach. I also realized this gives for better or for worse, gives my father and my father-in-law an opportunity to be involved in stuff going on in our house. And folks like being involved and helping other people. And for sure, I'm blessed to have a father and father-in-law that love helping out. And I feel like they were actually enthusiastic to come and engage and learn and listen to the problem and hear the presentation and see if there's anything else they could do to help. So that was great. That was one great thing about it. I initially said nothing's great about it. And then I said, well, this gives me an opportunity to maybe find a better technician, a better company to work with. Someone that's perhaps a little bit more honest. And then I said to myself, well, what else is great? Well, my father and father-in-law are involved. Number two, maybe I finally have the opportunity to the unit had been breaking and malfunctioning for years. And now I finally, maybe from a new technician, find out what's actually wrong. So that's good. And then another thing that was great, that when I asked myself what's great about the situation is it gave me a very good test to see if I could control what was really a building anger and frustration about what was going on, that now all of a sudden in the middle of the summer, my unit's broken. I'm being told I got to fix it for $15,000, and that was the minimum. There's others that were offered it or even more, or I could fix it for $6,000, and maybe it gave me the chance to be a little bit more proactive. So I thought, what else is great is that I have the opportunity to be a little bit more proactive. Maybe I'll contact the company and find out whether or not it really is not under warranty. And sure enough, I contacted the company, and the next day they wrote back to me and said, no, it's not under warranty. It's been 5 years and 1 month. The warranty is 5 years, yours is 5 months and 5 years and 1 month. It's not covered. However, we will go ahead and we will fix it anyway. So the $6,000 repair that I was offered actually now has become $0 if I chose to do the repair. So another question that you ask yourself, another power question that you could ask yourself is, what am I willing to fix? What am I willing to do to fix the problem? And what I was willing to do is, number one, try to pursue it myself to see if the warranty was in fact not valid anymore. I was willing to. What am I doing? What am I willing to do to make the situation better? I called another technician who I had very good sense of trust from immediately as soon as I started speaking with him on the phone. He said he's very happy to come and help. Another thing I asked myself, well, what else am I willing to do? I'm willing to try to work and to not get so upset when this was going on. And this is an example of what Tony Robbins likes to call transformational vocabulary, where you take the word that you're using to describe your emotion, and then maybe you modify it. So instead of saying you're furious, I'm furious, or I'm enraged about the situation, those words will cause, in his words, your nervous system to react, and then it will intensify the emotion. So if you say you're furious, then your hands are going to clench up, your heart will beat fast, you'll breathe faster, you'll start sweating, and it'll be more and more intense. But am I really furious, or am I actually, maybe I'm just frustrated, or maybe I'm irritated at the situation. I feel like I'm being lied to, and it may be an out-of-pocket expense. So that's what's called transformational vocabulary, and it's a good idea to use. Are you really furious, or are you frustrated? Or are you fascinated? Jim Rohn, in a previous example, said that he was on his way to the airport and his plane left in 45 minutes in Los Angeles, and his traffic wasn't moving at all. So he said, I'm now fascinated, instead of being furious. Now he also says it doesn't work every time. When you tell yourself that instead of being furious, that you're actually just fascinated or you're frustrated, it may not work. But usually we intensify the emotion with the vocabulary that we use, but we can minimize it by changing the word. And also when things are going really well, instead of saying, they're all right. Yeah, just getting by. Thank God it's Wednesday, or thank God it's Friday, or this. Instead of saying that, say, you know what? I'm really blessed, or I'm great, but I'll get better. Those are the words of Zig Ziglar. How you doing? I'm great, but I'll get better. I say that to my patients when I walk in the room, and then all of a sudden they look up and say, oh, really? You're great, but you'll get better? What's going on? What are you so excited about? And end up someone who has a plastered on frown because of all these things that might be going wrong in their life. When I say I'm great, but I'll get better, even if I'm not feeling great, by saying I feel great, but I'll get better, it gives me something to look forward to, that I may even get better and may feel better in the future, and they feel the same way when they hear what I say, and then it enhances their mood. So what am I willing to do to make the situation better? Call the new technician, have my father and my father-in-law get engaged, maybe find a new technician that would be better, call the warranty, become a little more proactive, see if I can get it covered, and lo and behold, it was covered. And then the next question that you can ask yourself is, what's great about the situation? What am I willing to do to make the situation better? What am I no longer willing to do to make this situation, what am I no longer willing to do? So what I decided I was no longer willing to do is I was no longer willing to allow it to ruin my vacation, ruin my time, and make me more frustrated with my wife and my kids in the situation, and more irritable and more short-tempered and maybe sarcastic. Well, what's wrong? Well, this is wrong, and that's wrong, and this is wrong. The people are always trying to do this. So I decided I'm not going to allow this to ruin my vacation anymore. I have the money to fix it, thank God. About 6 years ago, I was in a very bad financial situation. I would not have been able to fix it. I would have had to borrow money. But thank God I'm blessed. I have the money that I could have paid for it. I could have paid for it twice if I had to. But I didn't feel like but I didn't want to be taken advantage of. So worst case scenario, if I had to fix it, I could fix it, and it wouldn't be such a big deal. And even if I couldn't afford it, I'm sure there's creative financing and you can borrow money and there's credit cards. But I was in a position where I could pay for it. So really, was I exaggerating the situation? Was it really that bad, or was I maybe making it worse? So what's great? What am I willing to do to fix it? What am I no longer willing to do? And then what's not great about the situation? Well, I described that. So what am I willing, what's great? What's not great? The fact that it's broken, I may have to lay out money. I feel like I'm being lied to. It's going to be time on the vacation. What am I willing to do to fix it? What am I no longer willing to do? And then the last one, which was I think the best, which is how can I enjoy the process trying to fix the problem? Well, I went out on the balcony and called the new technician, and there I am looking at the Pacific Ocean, being out there enjoying it. Maybe if I was at home in the heat of my house, 80, 85 degrees in the house because one air conditioner was working, the other one was broken. So I'm 72 degrees on Pismo Beach overlooking the Pacific Ocean with a nice breeze and seagulls around me. Maybe I was in a more empowered state in order to fix the problem, because there I am on vacation overlooking the beautiful Pacific Ocean surrounded by my kids. Whereas if I was in a hot house in Las Vegas trying to get the problem fixed, maybe I'd be more angry, maybe I'd be more frustrated, and that would put me in a disempowered, less powerful state. When people get enraged, or when people get anxious, or when they get overwhelmed, these are disempowering emotions that don't really give you the power and the clarity and the resourcefulness to fix the problem. So there I am contemplating the problem. My father and father-in-law are here, and it's a little hot for them, but here I am overlooking the beach in Pismo Beach. So I'm in a relaxed situation. So how can I enjoy the problem? How can I enjoy myself while I'm trying to fix it? Well, here I am on the phone with a new guy that I trust, who seems like he's going to be able to fix the problem. Says, yep, I'll come out and I'll patch it up. And if it doesn't work, I can't fix it, then I'll put a temporary unit in. The first company never offered something like that. It was just all money, money, money. He said, no, I'll come out and try to fix it. If I can't, then I'll put a temporary unit in. You don't have to charge me anything. And I sent him the quote for the repair options and the new replacement options. And he laughed at them. He said, those are ridiculous. So what I was able to do is make a new connection, find someone more reputable, and I could enjoy the process while overlooking the water in a more relaxed, more empowered, resourceful state because of my level of relaxation. So I minimized how I was feeling by changing the vocabulary in my mind, asked myself better questions. What's great about this? What's not great? What can I do to fix it? What am I no longer willing to do? And how can I enjoy the process? And in the end, the guy came and he said, you know what, $440, I'll try to fix it. He said, I patched it up inside. We'll pursue it. We'll contact the warranty. We'll get that fixed. He said he patched it up, didn't charge me any money. And he said, if you need it in the future to be replaced, then in October, the price will be much, much better. I'll give you a few $1,000s off. That was never offered to me the first time. First technician says you got to fix it right now. This is the price, and if you don't do it today, then the price will go up. There was no offer of any kind of temporary unit to try to keep the place cool, to try to fix it in any way. $6,000 to try to fix it. You don't want to do that. It's not under warranty, but it actually is under warranty. So this was a great learning process. And even though I was on vacation, and it temporarily for 1 to 2 days kind of threw me off track, by better thinking, by better questions, by using what Tony Robbins refers to as transformational vocabulary to minimize my emotions that I had, work my way through the process. Everything got taken care of. I came home to a nice, cool house, and I didn't have to lay out any money. And I really do appreciate my friend Dave Rich from Rich Air, who really swooped in and tried to fix the problem for me, and got a great feeling as soon as I was on the phone with him. Felt comfortable. You really can't put a price on the value of honesty and integrity and the feeling that you get when you feel like you're speaking with someone who offers that to you. So thank you very much. Hopefully this was an educational video. Will help people deal with their problems besides air conditioner units, but any problem that comes up, these power questions, and then the use of transformational vocabulary. Thank you very much for watching.